Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Football Uncensored. My name is Chris, the American Mag. We got a few fans lined up to talk about the weekend. The Premier League is back, ladies and gentlemen. It is back. What a match between Chelsea at Stamford Bridge and Man City. We're going to discuss that, of course. We got a City fan lined up. Hopefully, he makes it soon enough. I think, yeah, there you go. There's City Bevo TV showing up because he has to face the cameras, man. He is the current champion, and he's got a few things to get off his chest as well. So we're gonna get to him, of course. We got Manu played against Fulham. Did they struggle? We got Kevin Ritchie to explain himself. I can't believe they struggled against Fulham, but maybe that's just my assessment. But we'll have to get his opinion. Of course, we got to talk about Liverpool playing the Tractor Boys away as well, and we got Chelsea fans as well lined up. So we'll have to see what they have to say about the Premier League. A lot of controversies with VAR. Well, not really VAR, but the refereeing. It's been quite awful this weekend. It's the first week, and it's already been awful. But we'll get into that, of course. Arsenal beating Wolves. Arsenal is back. Are they gonna uh, compete for the title again? We'll have to see. But let me welcome the fellas, of course. Kevin Ritchie. How you doing, mate? Everything good? You've been on vacation, bro.
I have. All right.
Was it good?
It was. I was in
Where'd you
Africa.
go?
I went to
Ah,
Tanzania.
Nice, man. Nice. We got Jerry here from Blue Board Analysis representing Chelsea. We also got Connor from the Cop Console representing Liverpool, of course. And got City Bevo TV, man. You've been busy all over the place, brother. You doing all
Yeah,
right?
getting about. Yeah, getting
Yeah,
about.
man. Lovely, lovely, lovely. To the folks out there, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel so we can get more Premier League fans to come on the show, on the channel, and enjoy it. Hit that like button is very important. So, all right. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. And we got to start obviously with Chelsea Man City. It was the match of the week. Um, Everybody I thought would expect that City was going to win this one. I mean, Enzo Maresca is brand new on the job. Um, City to me, basically, Chelsea just destroyed every little thing that Pochettino could have built in those last 10 matches that they ended up finishing in Europe. They destroyed it all, and that's what I think, in my humble opinion, that they're going to be right where they were at 2 seasons ago, maybe 6th to 10th mid-table there. So I might be wrong, but it is what it is. And I thought that everybody thought Man City would win. Maybe not, wipe the floor with Chelsea, but at least win. And they certainly did do that with Erling Haaland continuing his you know uh, season debut with scoring. But let me get to City Bevo. Bevo, you have a few things to get off your chest, man. Your team won though, so I don't understand. Are you upset? What's going on, brother? What is your
No, I'm
assessment
not.
on the game, by the way? Also,
No,
give
I'm
me
not.
that.
I'm not upset at all. I thought it was a fantastic performance from the lads for game week one. Um, you know, there was quite a few players and pivotal players that were still sort of coming back. Obviously, Kyle Walker, John Stones, Rodri, Foden got 45 minutes but didn't start. So I think overall for the team that we had out, no matter what form Chelsea are in, it's still you still go into Stamford Bridge, which isn't an easy place to go to. And I think the lads did really, really well. It was a composed game. I thought when we went 1-0 up, there was. I wouldn't say we took the foot off the gas, but I feel like we controlled the game better than we normally would. I think sort of historically, if we 1-0 up, we'll go for 2, 3, 4, 5. Whereas I feel like we were always going for the second, but it was in a controlled way. Which I thought was really good to see, especially considering we had, young players on the pitch still, like, Rico Lewis, who had an exceptional game, by the way, to come up against, wingers with the pace of, Neto and Kunku. Jackson obviously has pace. He handled himself really, really well. For me, Kovacic, man of the match by far. I thought he was exceptional. Really, really coped well with the whole. Can he essentially be the backup to Rodri? And I think he coped with that pressure quite well. Going back to his former stomping ground, Stamford Bridge. Never an easy place. What I'd say is the only thing I've got to get off my chest is there's a lot of talk from City fans at the moment who are, not sure or under the impression that Doku doesn't create that many chances. For me, that's the biggest load of rubbish I've ever heard in my life. Granted, he might not get the assists from it, but the creating of chances is something which Doku, I think, is probably his best asset. The ability to sort of take on 2, 3, 4 defenders, get around them and able to at least try and pop off a pass. Even if it's not successful, he's still there trying to create those chances. For me, I think some people just need to wind their neck in a little bit.
Yeah. No, I really like Doku, man. If for Newcastle fans, he reminds me of Saint Maximin. Obviously, he finishes a lot better, and I think he's a lot better player.
Yeah.
So I really like him. I really enjoy him.
I see that. It's the unknown. I raised this on the point the other night on one of the shows that I was on, and said that the thing is, when Doku's coming up against defenders, the defenders have no idea which way he's going. They don't know whether he's coming inside, taking it to the byline. You just got no idea. But I think that our team are also under that impression where they don't know where he's going to go because he's just so unpredictable. You've just got to kind of, I suppose, be there or thereabouts and hope that he sort of passes the ball, I guess.
Yeah. No, you got a good point. Jerry, mate, well, you had to take, the loss, brother. But what did you think of your team, man? It's a brand new season and obviously a new manager and a lot of new players. So what do you make of that right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, congratulations to Manchester City on the win. For Chelsea, of course, there's a lot to talk about, so I'll try to be brief because it can go for hours if we just cover Chelsea, where they are and what's been happening, right? So, as far as this game is concerned, I mean, of course, not a lot of Chelsea fans were expecting to win. We were expecting to have a good start, to display something, to show some patterns. It was not a poor performance, I would say, but it was an underwhelming performance. A lot to be desired, right? The preseason, we only won one game, drew two, lost three. So a lot of analysts said, okay, let's not look into the results preseason because last season we were invincible in the preseason. So that's fine because we saw some promises, some good patterns. We created a lot of chances in the preseason. That was a positive. Of course, the defense was vulnerable. We were playing a very high line, to which Maresca addressed that he would try to, address that. But at times in this game, if you see on the counter, the midfield was wide open, the defense was open. There was so much space that it was concerning. Look, this is. I think it's not that straightforward where Chelsea will finish or to say where we are now. And there are a lot of reasons. So I'll give you a few reasons. First of all, like last season, as you know, we finished sixth, right, in a turbulent season. We suffered 10 to 12 injuries throughout the season, which I don't see a lot of mainstream and analysts address that, which is a record injury that we carried throughout the season under Mauricio Pochettino, including key players like Reece James and Kunku Lavia, among others. So this season, look, at least we have a fitter squad right now. We don't have an injury issue as yet. Not only that we strengthened our squad, not only did we strengthen our squad with the likes of Neto, other signings. Mark Gu, I think, is a great forward. Although he's 18, he's still young, needs to prove. But we have players like Nkunku Lavia back, which feels like a new signing, right? Because they did not. Lavia played 32 minutes last season. 32 minutes in the entire season in Kunku. So I believe we have a very good squad, I would say. If you see and compare, we have player on who can compete for every position, like on the right back, Reece James, Gusto, So there are two amazing choices. So the issue is right now is the defense, which is vulnerable. We leaked a lot of goals, a record number of goals last season. If we can remain fit, we do have a good squad. As I say, it's a very good squad. As far as the question that we don't have experience, I personally disagree. Yes, ideally we should have, or we could get someone like a Victor Osimhen or some other players who can you can make the squad complete, right? We have two Euro finalists, Kukurea and Cole Palmer. We have World Cup champion Enzo Fernandez. So the experience is there. It's not that there's no experience, and they have played now together for a year. So there's a lot of quality in Chelsea, and I agree. The issue is that when they replaced Pochettino, as it's reported, with mutual consent, which I believe is the case, because Pochettino wanted Conor Gallagher. It's one of the main reason, and they did not give him any assurance. And it was evident, in the last 4 5 weeks of the season, when Pochettino was talking in post game on Sky and on different forums, it was not the Pochettino that any of us had known from Espanyol, Southampton, Spurs, PSG, because he is an organizational person. He would never disrupt the pillars of the organization or go against the owners. For 4 5 weeks, he was very, very vocal, saying that enough is enough, that not only him, but the owners should also be scrutinized, things along those lines. So the writing was on the wall. The only thing is, it's my take. Of course, the fan base is divided. Chelsea fan base. I think I was okay when Pochettino left in this sense because the Chelsea fan as a whole never connected with him. I didn't have this issue, but vast majority of the fans never connected with him because of his links with Tottenham Hotspur. So it was important for a man like Pochettino, who you can say is very emotional. He needs the support. He never got the support at Chelsea Football Club. So I was thinking we'll go for an upgrade naturally, like a Hansi Flick or Thomas Tuchel. So we did not. Okay, we wanted to go for a younger manager, but then again, we could have gone for a Julian Nagelsmann, who I think is the best young manager out there with experience, or a Ruben Amorim, or even a De Zerbi. But we took this route with uh, Enzo Maresca, which is very difficult as an analyst to understand what was the reason. The only reason I can understand is that he worked with Pep Guardiola. They see what Arteta is doing right now at Arsenal. He can do the same at Chelsea. So I don't know. We have to wait and see. This is the most difficult thing that I cannot say. The Chelsea fans cannot say. We don't know. It's like the fear of the unknown. It can go in a very positive direction because I believe the squad is there. We just signed Felix. In fact, we have far too many players, right? We just need a little bit more experience, a little bit more integration and rehearsal, but the quality is all over the pitch. The question mark is, again, the ambition. Are we ambitious? We need a striker. Everyone said that in the summer of 2023 that we need a striker, but still we didn't address that. Nico Jackson is not a striker. That was evident. Now, just to wrap this up, to talk a bit on the game, of course. The game, of course, it was difficult to watch. Under Pochettino, it was a completely different style. It was slow, sluggish. Playing from the back is fine. It's the modern football, but it was difficult. At times, it felt it's a game of chess than a football, right? And we did create a few chances, not too many, but again, there was no quality in the final third. I don't agree with Nkunku playing as a left wing. I think he should play in the middle or as a false nine. Uh, Neto is very interesting. When he came in the second half, we can see the quality. Cole Palmer, is trying to figure out it's different right now. We can see, of course, he was playing on the right, but it's more fluid. So I think Enzo Maresca and the team is still trying to find the identity. As far as midfield goes, I think we lack some physicality as much as we have a lot of quality, at least on paper, with Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and Lavia. Very technical players. I think we lack some space and physicality there. So it's one game. So I think we can do well this season, but a lot has to be seen how Enzo Maresca, who is
Yep.
at his first job at the highest level as a head coach, how he
Yep.
can
How's he gonna
integrate,
perform? Yeah.
you know, uh, get
1-1
along
Tottenham.
when the going gets tough, right? The pressure of the media, the Chelsea fans. So
Right.
that has to be seen.
Um, Kevin, did you watch this game? It
The
was-
Chelsea City game.
yeah. Did
Yeah.
you? What do you think about? I mean, I'm trying to interesting to see other rivals' perspective on this because, um, do you guys fear this Chelsea team moving forward, or what do you think about the City team? What do you think about the match and all that stuff?
Just going off Bevo's point, I think the reason why City fans are kind of, maybe not you, I've met you once, you have a pretty understanding of the game. Doku is unlike any other winger you've had. Like, Riyad Mahrez is the only one that kind of, like, similar, but he is totally different. He is a player that's going to take risks. Pep Guardiola does not play that type of football. Like, the scary part about City this year is if they put like Grealish and like when Bob comes back on the wing and they put Grealish, Bob, and Holland, they're going to keep the ball for the entire game. If they put Savino and Doku on the wing, they're going to go at the fullbacks the entire 90 minutes. They will not stop running at them. So when you look at the game that just happened at the weekend, City didn't go out of first gear. It was clear that they had the understanding of how the Chelsea going to come out, and Enzo didn't create anything. So like it's kind of hard to look at Chelsea and Chelsea fans. Sorry I didn't get your name, but like if you think Enzo played good at the weekend, like you got to look at what he did. Actually nothing. He looked lost for 90 or for what 70 minutes he played. He looked lost the entire game. Like the 10 does not suit him.
We took Kovacic for £25 million. They've replaced that £25 million.
225.
With £225 million worth of players. I mean, I think we've got that deal here. I'm not going to.
Well, the thing is, because look, I know Enzo Fernandez very well because I'm a River Plate fan, and he came from there. He's a very good footballer, in my opinion.
But he's not a 10.
He's not a 10. He is a Declan Rice. That's what he's there to do.
He's not a 6 though. But like
he's a forward. No, he's not a DM. Declan Rice is no DM. I mean, come on. Declan Rice is not there to hold the defense and he's back and forth. That's his game. You need to have somebody that defends because Enzo Fernandez will leave that defense open because his game is going back and forth nonstop.
He's an 8 then.
Right. So kind of what Liverpool fans were saying they need a DM. Enzo Fernandez is not him. But Connor, what do you think about these two teams on the match of the week? Do you feel Liverpool don't seem like they're haven't making a lot of moves in the transfer window, so they're kind of staying the same. Do you feel like you can get close to this City team watching them yesterday? And what do you think about this Chelsea team?
Simple answer is no. I think that's the easiest one. But now, like, I think starting on the game, I think, look, this Chelsea team it's nowhere near the top. Like, it's plain and simple. Like, they could sign Victor Osimhen and still wouldn't be anywhere near the top, in my opinion. They look toothless. City could have brought all their academy players on the bench, and it would have made no difference yesterday. Like, that midfield three on paper looks great with Enzo Fernandez and Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia. Romeo Lavia, by the way, I would give him massive praise for yesterday because he's by far Chelsea's best player by a country mile. Like, it wasn't close. And that's an embarrassment, I think, on Enzo Fernandez because I think what he does for that team like, again, everyone goes, oh, he's an 8, he's a 6. I think he's more of an 8, but even when he plays there, he's just like, again, you don't notice him. You don't say, oh, he's the guy that's going to transition Chelsea into being a title challenger or being a consistent top 4 player. It very much feels like they're relying on a Caicedo or Lavia to push that midfield forward. And yesterday, you could quite clearly see when Cole Palmer doesn't get that freedom of how well Guardiola and that City defense defended Cole Palmer yesterday. You didn't see Cole Palmer once. Like, I can't even remember an opportunity he had apart from the first half chance.
That's the issue I see with Chelsea, though. This year is under Poch, they played this type of football that it could get hectic and they can just sort. Sorry, I'm watching the game as well, the Tottenham game.
How's that going? Did Leicester equalize?
It's 1-1.
Vardy.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's gonna be in there.
But
No wonder Spurs
Vardy's
fans don't want to show their face.
But no, so like what I was like, Chelsea fan. Sorry, what's your name?
Jerry.
It's Jerry.
Jerry, yeah. So what you can just see of last year against Maresca is when Poch wanted to win a game, he just subbed on attackers and said, go out there and just play your own football and just kind of make your own. There's no tactics. This year with Maresca, and a lot of years, because I don't think Chelsea can afford to sack Maresca in 6 months, but they're not going to allow to do that. So if Palmer's on the wing and he plays this structured football, it's going to look terrible. Like, you're not going to be able to see the creativeness of the Nkunku dropping back if he actually gets played in the right position, the Palmer on the right wing where he doesn't look the best. Like, if you play João Felix on the left wing, like, it's going to look strange because you've had 2 years of this really just freedom ball, and now you're just not going to get that at all. Maresca is going to be a very systematic manager, and it's going to be really strange with this lopsided team because you have a really defense and a really weird attack.
I think
like really good attack.
Just the principle. If your thing is bringing in a lot of players all the time, you need an experienced manager. You can't have an inexperienced manager and inexperienced players. And I understand what you're saying, Jerry, about the experience of some of these players, but I think it's just a lot of new players, let alone if they've been playing the game for a long time or not. If they're new to the team, they're new to the system. Because I do agree that they do have other players that have played that in big games. By the way, in my honest opinion, that was a handball on Kovacic. Because his hand is extended, and look, intention. What is the intention? Nobody knows anybody's intention here.
I'd argue that his arm wasn't in a position.
But Jerry, let me get to you with this question though.
Absolutely.
Do you think it helps? Is Enzo Maresca doing too much in the sense of making Enzo Fernandez captain as well? That shocked me. I mean, I know he might be making a statement like, "This is our guy. I know what he went through," but do you think that it would take eyes off of him? Like, I feel like you bring attention to him that he doesn't need at this moment in time. But answer that if you don't mind. Let me welcome the mighty Wendy, old guy.
Absolutely.
Listen to himself.
Absolutely. Before that, if you allow me just 1 minute quickly to answer some of the points the dear panelist raised. Good points about Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, Lavia. But we have to also remember that it's the first time ever in the Premier League that they played yesterday, right? So they don't play together ever. Lavia, Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez played for the first time. The whole point, in my opinion, respectfully, a lot of opposition fans or analysts miss is that this Chelsea team, again, like with the new coach, it will take a bit of time. So I'm on that board. Not that I want that, but I understand. So I'm like, okay, at least give this manager with this team now 2 months, right? You cannot judge on the first game and draw a line that it's a failure. I won't agree to that, right? And of course, I can understand. I was the one who was critical also when Enzo Maresca was appointed. I was critical on his appointment, but of course, as a fan, we have to support. And critical because it did not make a good footballing case. Why Enzo Maresca? When, as I mentioned, there were other managers. So with the likes of Arsenal, Liverpool now, of course, Liverpool with a new manager, but we know the Liverpool squad, Arsenal, we know how integrated and rehearsed they are, which of course we were getting under Pochettino at the end of the season. But I already mentioned that Pochettino and the board were not aligned. And okay, so to answer about Enzo Fernandez, I know a very controversial topic, right? Personally, I wouldn't have wanted him, especially with what happened, with his supposedly racist remarks, which of course didn't go down. And Fofana and the French players blocked him, and all that happened. But he apologized. He apologized. He made an apology. He donated for the racist charity foundation. So it's all good. The French players accepted that. But after that, I agree. It's little too much to give him the captaincy band, especially in the first game and when the team requires, a good start, solid foundation. So, yes, I can understand the reason as you do why they made Enzo Fernandez the captain. But not only that, he's not ready, I would say, at this moment. But with what happened, for sure, I'm all for forgiveness and move ahead and learn from your mistake. But rewarding him as a skipper, I personally disagree. But as a fan, of course, I'll support him.
Right. All right. A few things on Chelsea because we got to move on to a million matches that happened. Obviously, we talked about the captaincy that I thought wasn't necessary. But Richie, I think you wanted to say, Kevin, a few words about that, or did you not?
Regarding what topic?
The captaincy of you. I know you did disagree with it, obviously, because we've had a discussion about this before. It's almost awarding him.
He's rewarded for being a terrible teammate. I don't understand why Chelsea thought that was a good idea.
It's Enzo Maresca's job, isn't it? Or do you think it comes down from above to try to make a statement?
I think it's the latter.
Personally, I think it comes from the above. Sorry, please go ahead. I don't think so. It's Enzo Maresca is calling all the shots, but I think it's a collective decision, probably from the above.
Yeah.
I know that when City appoint captains, it's purely done on the players. The players basically have a vote.
The players.
The City votes. City
But don't you
players
think,
don't have to vote.
just to have your say on that one quickly, Kevin? Don't you think that if it wasn't an issue, if it was still an issue already about what he said, and it was still an issue in the locker room, don't you think that players would kind of not? I mean, the word maybe is not riot, but you get the point. Wouldn't they have a say in this and say, "Come on, man, I understand we forgive him, but is he going to be our captain?" You know what I mean? Like if they had a problem with it.
You also have to. Sorry, I'm watching the Tottenham game as well. Almost 2-1. But no. So all right, look. When you are going to be wearing the armband for a game and players are going to expect you to lead the team to win and get the 3 points, you really have to show up and not have the fans against you. It just kind of seemed weird with what happened in the summer, and then that performance, it just really didn't look good for the fans probably at all. So I don't know, Jerry, if you agree, yes or no to that, but to drop that type of performance and that type of action during the summer, it just looks like a terrible decision by the club. But it is Chelsea. They do a lot of PR things just because of their name. So we'll see come next week if he's still the captain or they change the band around and see if they can try and get a leader somewhere else on the pitch.
We'll see what happens. Now, before we move on from Chelsea, there's talks that Raheem Sterling is trying to be removed from the club, that he's not going to be taken in consideration. Obviously, he wasn't even considered for this game. Any thoughts? Any of you want him? Hey man, you want him in Liverpool, Connor?
I'll take him.
Get that rat far away.
Oh, man, he's played in every big club. He's played in every big club there is.
Except one.
There's only one player I want back at my club, and that's Ilkay Gundogan.
Hey, he's coming. I'm telling you, I got he's coming.
Does anyone else have a problem with him making the whole statement? Because, again, you've been left out the team. I don't see a problem.
Going out to the public. I mean,
it's okay, you're one of Chelsea's top earners. I think he's on, I don't know when that was, Jerry, I probably know this more. Yeah, he's on 300k a week. But if the manager, but it's if the manager thinks you're not good enough for the team, then, train better. The whole thing in his statement, I've been back 2 weeks before preseason, I've had a good preseason. So, Like, get better in training and get better to get into the team. Because that Chelsea team could have done with the experience of Raheem Sterling. We've mentioned it on the stream. Like Chelsea could do with experience. Like, get better, get in that team. And if you can't get in it, then don't sign ridiculous contracts.
Well, that's the issue.
I'm sure. I'm sure he's happy with his contract. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to screw that up. But he certainly. It wasn't. Kevin wasn't a good year so far. He's been kicked out of the England squad as well from the Euros. So you don't want him on you, man. He's never played him on you.
I don't want him at all. But this is the issue with contracts like that Chelsea are offering. If you offer a person $300K a week for or what is he on 4 years now? No club is going to be able to afford that.
Excuse me.
In England,
Mr. Rashford, you're on 400 a week, and he ain't even
375. All right.
Nah. So you and Chelsea do it a lot.
I'm not saying that, but that's like, is that Chelsea's star boy? Is that Chelsea's picture? Like, no, it's now Cole Palmer. This is like, he's gonna. Even if clubs come in, say if Brentford come in and offer, I don't know, I'm just going to put a ballpark, 50 million, 125K a week, he's not going to accept that. The club can accept it, but they won't ever agree personal terms. So
he has to go down. He has to go down.
He won't ever go down, though. That's the issue when it comes to these players.
He won't go down. The club will have to pay him off. They're effectively going to get nothing for him.
But in next year, I do want to move on from Chelsea, but just to know this, Jerry, how in the world is your club dealing with all this money in and out, man? You're not getting in trouble. I mean, it's a legitimate question.
No, and I think that's where a lot of people fail to realize that the number of players that we sold, it's not just the incomings. So we have really balanced the book effectively. If anything, these owners are doing this job very well. So people are just looking at the net spend. They're not looking at what we have sold. More than 500K last season. So if you see the net spending, it's not that much. And then again, of course, that is again a topic that makes the fans divided, like the academy lads, Conor Gallagher, Jalaba, they have to go and sell them, at the end because of these reasons. But we are not in a FFP struggle because we have analyzed in our shows in depth the incomings and outgoings. They have done this very intelligently, and of course, the reason they have the long-term, long-term contracts is for a reason. And as far as Sterling goes, quickly, one thing I can tell you, being in the Chelsea community, in various channels. The vast majority of the fan base don't want Sterling, and the main reason is, of course, not only his price tag, but he is one of those players who have been consistently inconsistent with Chelsea. He would play amazing, like with City, as you know, against City last season, and all 3 games, especially the home, how he took on Kyle Walker, like he would be the best player in England. But he performs 1 in every 4-5 games, and that really hurts. If you see other games, he's not there. He's just another player. So Chelsea fans would be very happy if we can replace him.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's move on to the next one, folks. Liverpool against the Tractor Boys away. Connor, I'm not so sure you are excited about this team's performance this weekend against Ipswich. All they do is farm, man. What's going on here?
It could be worse. Could lose to a newly promoted team.
You didn't lose. You didn't lose.
No, lucky it was a solid performance. I think from Liverpool. I think lucky first game of the season, new manager under Arne Slot. Very, very tough game. Look, Ipswich on paper, sure, you'd say you should be winning 5 or 6-0. Man City will probably do that next week against them, but it's a tough place, like away to Ipswich, 12:30, fully of what you expected from that first half. Liverpool went great. Like I'm not going to say Liverpool were in that first 45 minutes. I think Arne Slot spoke perfectly well after the game, saying Liverpool lost too many duels, which again he was correct. And the substitute he made at half-time, bringing on Ibu Konate, changed things, allowed Liverpool to press higher up the pitch, and you saw plain and simple Liverpool of old on the right hand side with Trent, Mo, again. What they do best, creating Liverpool's goals and scoring. And look, the scoreline says 2-0, but towards the end, Liverpool could have been 4-5-6 up, which is the typical story of Liverpool, certainly towards the back end of last season. But again, I give massive praise towards Ipswich because, again, that first half, they executed a plan perfectly. I think when you look at their statistics in terms of sprints, in terms of counter-pressing, again, statistically, they're very, very good at that. So I think as well to praise Liverpool, I think Liverpool deserve praise on that because times last season Liverpool conceded big chances and conceded first plenty of times last year, and it feels already that Arne Slot has that defensive structure not nailed down because of course new manager, it takes time, but the early implements there suggest that Liverpool defensively could be looking a lot sharper than what they did last season, but also going forward also look very, very good, certainly down the right hand side.
Yeah,
but again, I mean, Ipswich could have scored first as well.
they could have scored and they had opportunity.
They could have done.
But City, Bevo, listen, I'm sorry we had to move on from your club. You guys are kind of boring, man. You just play too good and win every time. So I mean, what's the point of that? But one of the teams, obviously, that has been pushing City, and the only reason, according to you, that they haven't. What is it? The 6 in a row or 7 in a row? Was it?
Yeah. So if it wasn't for Liverpool winning the league that year, we'd be talking about City going on for what, 8 in a row now. We would have done 7 in a row. We'd be going on for 8. It's and there was a couple of years where the Liverpool ran as close, and fair play to them. I was just going to ask a question actually to Connor. One of Klopp's biggest complaints about the sort of the scheduling was the 12:30 kickoffs on a Saturday. Did Arnie have anything to mention about the 12:30 kickoff in his first game?
I don't think he cared, but all of us was like, Jesus Christ, new season again, 12:30. But again, I genuinely don't get why 12:30s are a thing. It's only England that 12:30s are a thing. Nowhere else in Europe you've got a game that early. And this isn't just for Liverpool, even though I know everyone's thinking Jurgen Klopp left that implement on Liverpool in terms of the 12:30. But I generally think the Premier League should get rid of it. I never understand it. I know TV deals and people go, TNT got that spot.
That's exactly what it is, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a 3:00 ban, which is ludicrous in this day and age.
Yeah.
The 3:00 ban is absolutely senseless.
Yeah.
Because anybody who wants to watch a 3:00 kickoff,
they will
can watch a 3:00 kickoff.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
If you are good to your local third division club or whatever, you would go.
Well, let me tell you something. That's a problem me and Kevin don't have.
Yeah, because they got all the 3:00 kickoff.
Yeah, well, everywhere outside England gets it. Well, outside UK gets it.
Pay the $60 a year or £60 a year and get the Amazon stick, and you have everything.
I know. No, but it should be made easier. But look, it should be televised.
But that would be illegal.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to mention that part.
Oh man, all of you is dodgy, old man. Come on, man. I know you very well, man. You got all the dodgy resources, but look, I mean, I don't know what else that Liverpool is. I mean, I would assume they're going to be in the fight, but no good signings that I can tell. I know you've signed players, but let me ask you, because you're a different Liverpool fan that we've had before. So, would you be interested in my left winger, Gordon, or is not somebody that you really are interested in?
Oh, those rumors died.
Well, we all would want Anthony Gordon at Liverpool. Scosa, everything. I think our number one problem is a 6. It's been that since Fabinho, and until we get that sorted, I don't want anything else. I don't want a new winger. I don't want a new defender. I want a number 6. I know Zubimendi could have happened, but it didn't, sadly. But I think Liverpool are the only team in the top 5 leagues at the minute that haven't signed anyone, which, again, don't know what our backroom staff are doing. Personally, I think they're all on holiday waiting for next year.
Can you?
But look, it's. I think
Well, all we've had's a free transfer.
no, but the only thing
and a couple of reserve goalies.
Well, no, it's the thing that everyone has said at the football club is, look, Arne Slot wanted to assess his squad first. That was 2 months ago, and we're still waiting for something. Like, look, if I was to put money on it right now, I do think Liverpool makes a signing, if that was any positive for anyone else. But I think when you do look at our squads, we don't need a bulk. You know, we don't need, for example, like a Chelsea who signed 6-7 players for the fun of it, with at that aspect. But Liverpool need 2 to 3 quality players. One being a 6, one being a centre back, and then the luxury item would be another forward for Mo Salah. Because look, Mo Salah again breaking records this weekend, but if he gets injured, then there's no one on the right hand side. You're then having to have Luis Diaz maybe fill out there, Harvey Elliott, Adom Szoboszlai. It's not ideal for Liverpool to do that, but if we can get that cover, then that would be like a perfect window. But we've got 12 days left, 13 days left the window, so we're leaving it pretty thin at the minute to get people in the door.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
how many 25 mil?
I was just going to ask a quick question. So I'm under the opinion at City that the reason why we're not making sort of too many signings this season is because we're saving up a bulk of cash for next season. Because obviously for us next season, you know, we're going to have to start looking at phasing out John Stones, probably Kevin De Bruyne as well. Kyle Walker's another one, and potentially even Bernardo Silva. So I think this year for us is more about saving money to spend next year. Do you think that Liverpool potentially are in the same position with maybe looking to sort of save a bit of cash this season to find a replacement for Salah next season?
Could be. Like, I think, look, I think our feeling is that we want the big boys to sign new contracts. I know Virgil, Trent, and Mo are the ones out of contract next summer. That's not great when you look at it on that aspect of things. But I think the optimistic feeling is that 2 of the 3 will sign new contracts. I think the one for me, I think that will run out, I think, is Mo. I think Mo Salah will leave Liverpool next season. And that's, again, I don't want Mohamed Salah to leave Liverpool Football Club, but it looks like it will happen. But I think as well, especially on the market, there isn't quality, I think, on the market right now. I think when you do look at it, I think for both City and Liverpool, like, look, we've pushed each other that high up in the Premier League. Like, we've created, again, this barrier that you have to win nearly every game in the second half of the season. And I think when you do look at both teams, I think Liverpool, like for us, like I keep mentioning, the 6 is the obvious one to sign. I think with City, when you look at City squad, what does City need? A backup striker for Erling Haaland, like, and that's about
backup.
It.
It's
the Rodri backup. It literally just is the Rodri backup.
You don't need a new right back because you have Rico Lewis.
Yeah. No, we don't need a right back, but
I think great.
I think that the overall kind of feeling around the club is that next season's going to be a big one for us. Especially, you know, we're potentially losing a player next season, very much similar to Liverpool, that's pretty much irreplaceable. Like, for Liverpool, there is nobody that could replace Mohamed Salah. For City, there is nobody that could replace Kevin De Bruyne. So I think for me, I see us as, especially for Liverpool and for City, we're just kind of biding our time. And putting sort of things in place for next year.
I think the problem for Liverpool and City, which we are sort of coming into, is the fact that when your squad is as good as your 2 squads are, it's very difficult to find somebody who's going to come in and improve it. You know, you've got to be an exceptional player to be able to come into those squads and improve them.
Well, Pep said himself he's not going to sign like a backup 6 that's just going to sit on the bench for 8 out of 10 games. It's not going to happen, and that would go the same for the striker as well. We're not going to sign an Isak or an Ivan Toney or an Ollie Watkins because as good as they are, they're not going to be willing to sit on the bench for 8 out of 10 games. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, that is true. All right. Well, Liverpool, I'm sure they're going to be fighting for the title. I would assume. I would just assume. They're the same as last season. City is the same as last season, basically. Well, actually, no, they lost Julian Alvarez. That's a big deal to me. But Arsenal didn't make any. I mean, Calafiori, but they were on Calafiori for like months and months, and they're so happy. I don't get it. He's a good lad. We're going to talk about Arsenal here in a minute. And they won against Wolves. But let's move on against Man United. To Man United, Richie.
What's up? Yeah.
I mean, come on, man. Explain yourself right now, man. What's going on here?
3 points. There it is.
Is that what Man U is about? What happened to Man U? The Man United, the many fans say the biggest club in the world, and that's what the biggest club in the world has to offer, man. 3 points.
No, but it was like the second half. Like the first half was kind of weird. I also watched this in Africa, and holy shit, African fans are on a different level. When people say people from the States or around the world don't know sports, African fans know literally everything about the club, and I love it. But no, the first half was just so bleh. It was just like we had some chances, and then we missed a sitter, and then the whistle blew for halftime, and then we actually picked it up in the second half, and then we missed 2 sitters. It just like doesn't make sense. So really, it all changed when Xerxes came on in the 76th minute, and we actually had a striker that wanted to play football. So that was fun to watch. Because Mason Mount really don't know what he does, and also Scott McTominay really don't know what he does either.
Well, he's about to go, isn't it?
No, they just. It's funny enough. Fulham just signed Burnley's holding midfielder, so Scott is staying.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, no, but somewhere I think Fabrizio was saying that if Man U will only sell him or entertain talks if he makes it clear that he wants to go.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
And he said
out
no.
To the public?
And now Fulham just signed Burnley's 6. So we keep Scott for another.
Have you seen that? I'm sorry, I was just going to say, have you seen that experience thing in? I think it's over in LA. It's like I think it's bar. You still get the same boring Man United experience, except you don't get the piss running down the stairs.
It's a no, but like it's just I don't know. I'm really expecting more this year, just because of Ruud is going to help Ten Hag actually want to play and tell these attackers to understand that it's not just putting Garnacho on and running, but seems like that's what we did and how we won. But I want more from these players. It's coming to a point now that it clearly can show if we don't have a good double pivot, and I'm a person that's not a fan of Casemiro. If he proves me wrong, he proves me wrong. But last year wasn't good enough. Preseason was so average that if I have to watch Kobe and Casemiro, I don't know what I'm going to do if I have to wake up at 7:30 in the morning this Saturday to watch them two again. Because Kobe is a great watch. Casemiro is just dreadful. Like, he doesn't pass the ball to a teammate ever. And if it does, it's to Onana that plays a risky ball. But the good thing, Mazraoui looked really good. De Ligt looked very good. If we can finally get rid of Spider, one of the worst nicknames for a football player ever, I think, and actually have our backline playing well, then we build from there. Because last year was pretty bad when it came to defense.
Yeah.
You see Martinez sending shots for
I love it, dude. 2 games in a row now.
Sending back to the gym or something.
Yeah, 2 games in a row with Martinez just completely shutting down any doubts of what the best thing as well. I didn't bring it up, but like, who now? Last year we had to rely on Johnny Evans and then Casemiro as our center back for the probably last 6 games. And now we have choices of center backs. It's like I don't even know. I think that's the happiest I'm about. It's just our center back signings, but we really have to see when it comes to a 6. Just like you, Connor, we really need one. And I'm excited for Ugarte if he actually comes, but we need to get rid of Scott or someone so we can actually take him in because the board says we don't buy one unless we sell one. So we'll just wait and see. But the game, just to wrap it up, quite boring. Xerxes got a goal, like cool, but it just wasn't.
That was a good goal,
exciting.
Man.
Wonder goal.
Yeah, man.
Oh wow, yeah. Great wonder goal.
Oh wow, yeah.
Coach.
See, this is typical Man United fan. What do you want, man? I don't get it, man. You want Messi and Ronaldo to come play for your club. You're not there anymore, brother. You gotta just build
I want
your
exciting football to watch.
That I don't blame you on that.
If Fulham could
Not getting
finish
on to
that
Ten Hag.
Not gonna happen with Ten Hag,
not.
man. You decided, and you were one of the ones backing him up as well. You were rioting outside of Old Trafford. I want Ten Hag in. But now you got the best manager, the best bald manager in the world, Ten Hag.
Oh,
excuse me, on a slot.
Enzo
Maresca is also in the race now.
That's got to be one of the qualifications to manage in the Premier League.
All of these are Pep's graduates. Do you know what I mean? There's only one.
Everyone losing their hair is just a Pep graduate.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's true. To finish off, Arsenal versus Wolves. We don't have an Arsenal representative, but it is what it is. They beat Wolves, of course, 2-0. What a goal by Saka, by the way, man. It was unbelievable. You got to admit. That was a proper goal by Saka. But I just don't know that Arsenal has done anything different. To me, it's the same thing. I mean, they did push for the title. That's a good point right there by Kevin's dog. But, they pushed for the title, but are they are they really going to push up and, compete with City and Liverpool and Chelsea maybe? Well, let me get to Jerry's. What do you think about Arsenal this season, man?
Yeah, I was in a show 3 days ago for one of the podcasts to predict. So a lot of people were surprised as a Chelsea fan. So you got it right. So I think Arsenal will win the league. This is Arsenal title to lose, in my opinion, right? I think Manchester City, of course, they have done well. They have done extremely well in the last 6, 7, 8 years, but it just feels right that this season they will struggle. It's so difficult to sustain, right? And I think you guys have already done it for a long time. And last season, I don't know if Pep will stay here or not. I'm not aware of the news after this season. And with all due respect, the impending court cases, hopefully, of course, it will be sorted out for you guys, but I think that might translate on the pitch, in my opinion, right? Arsenal, and why I said Arsenal, because look, they are growing. 2 seasons ago, they had what, 6 to 7 points lead?
5 is that came into place when we were in the treble season. It didn't affect us last season.
Yes, that's correct. So again, my opinion. So 6, 7 points ahead. They were 6, 7 points ahead, and they completely threw the lead, right? But if you see last season, even pre-Arteta days, you see many times Arsenal would be 1-2 around Christmas, and they will have a very bad second half, especially March to May. But last season, they did not. The only game they lost, it was going neck to neck with you guys, was in the title race. They lost 2-0 to Aston Villa, which eventually cost them the title. Arsenal, if you see the second half of the season, they played one of the best football. If you have to award them, if it's on points, then Arsenal, in my opinion, were better than City in the second half of the season. And they, for the first time in a long time, that's what I'm saying, they kept the consistency. They only lost to the best side in England on the last day, as Liverpool fans have experienced with Klopp when they have pushed City to the extent. So I think Arsenal has a tremendous chance, and the signing of Calafiori, I think, is huge, because that's where, in my opinion, they were vulnerable as on the left back side. So they are growing. They play with ambition. We can see against the game against Wolves, it was not phenomenal, but it was professional. You can see they are professional. They know how to get the results. And also last season, Arteta worked on the match fitness, on rotation. They were not exhausted. So I think it will be Arsenal will be right up there. I believe it. This is Arsenal to lose. This is their time to win the league.
All right. Just to finish up, this is interesting. It did happen in football, not in the Premier League. Everybody knows I'm Peruvian. I got somebody send me this as well to show on this show, and I was like, no, what happened here? I couldn't believe it was Peruvian too. But look at this. There's a player. This is by the Sun, by the way. And there's a corner, and somebody decides, you know what? I feel a little full right now. I'm gonna take a leak, and he just takes a leak on the corner. Oh, come on, man! There was a corner kick. He takes a leak right there on the, and he gets ejected, of course. And it's like, come on, man, you can't do this. Come on, man, get the hell out of here. And yeah, man. So this is unbelievable. Can you believe? And you guys are complaining about the.
Just froze, Chris.
I think we lost him. But if we're talking about red cards, did you see what happened with Jesus and the Wolves player?
I mean,
it's like sexual assault on the pitch.
I think it's a bold move putting the Sun article when it got a Liverpool fan on the street.
That was my next point. Fuck the Sun. I'm sorry if I'm going this way, but
I'm fully with you on that. Fully with you on that.
How that tabloid is still a thing in 2024. Jesus Christ.
I mean, don't get me wrong, video was pretty funny.
Just while Chris is away there.
The video was funny, but just get it off Twitter, not off the scum.
Yeah.
I think I'm unique amongst all the punditry around our channel, and that I am predicting Arsenal to be out of the top 6.
Sorry?
I'm predicting Arsenal to be outside the top 6.
Wow, it's a huge goal. Wow,
I like that. I actually like that.
I've done that on all of me, various competitions I'm in, all me bets.
Is this just because
Chelsea to finish above Arsenal, Spurs to finish above Arsenal?
Wow.
Well,
And I just think Arteta could well be the first man down.
If we get Gundogan back, we'll have the league wrapped up by, I'd probably say beginning of April.
I just really, really hope that Gundogan is like, look, I'll just become as a coach, and he retired from international. Just tell him to retire from club. He's too good of he's too good of an 8 that I just don't want to see him play back at City. It's so annoying that he's like, oh, Barcelona didn't work for me. The grass isn't green on the other side. Guess what? I'll just come back to City and win in the league again.
Well, I talked about this on the stream before. So the last time we had Gundogan in our team, we won the treble. He then left, went to Barcelona. Last season, we were 4 games away from winning back-to-back trebles. Obviously, but the point I'm trying to make is I reckon if we had Gundogan last season, I reckon we'd have got 2 out of those 3 trophies. In my opinion.
The biggest thing, as soon as when you guys if he comes back and you see this KDB can rest games and Gundogan can play the double 8 and Foden can play the 10 now, obviously, but Gundogan can play any of the midfield positions. Perfectly.
6, 8, 10, yeah, no worries.
He could also play wing. You saw against Liverpool with the fucking two goals and 2. Oh my god! But yeah, it's just there's a lot of
hate him.
Yeah,
I love and hate him at the same time. I love the player. Generally, I think he was City's most undervalued player.
Yeah, by far.
I think he genuinely he won City a Premier League title. That what was it, the last 2 months of the season, where I think we were fighting back in, I think, 21-22. Like, he was the difference maker for City in that campaign. But I think it is interesting. I don't know whether or not if it is a bit weird for anyone. Like, is it weird going back to a player that you had like 2 seasons ago? Like,
well, this is it. Pep generally doesn't do that. The only player he's ever re-signed is Thiago when he moved from Barca to Bayern.
Yeah, but
it's the only player that he's ever re-signed. My feeling around the club is that Pep wanted to keep Gundogan. The club wanted to keep Gundogan. It was just, I think Gundogan wanted to bow out with what he'd done and try something new.
when he left at the treble, right?
Yeah, he left after the
you
treble.
can't really improve on that, can you?
Well, this is the thing. But from what I've heard sort of around sort of the City community and from people that are sort of in the know, is that Gundogan, I think, realised fairly soon after moving to Barcelona that he missed City and that he wanted to come back. I know that it came out publicly from Sam Lee in around March time.
The podcast, yeah.
That he said then that he really missed City and he really wanted to go back. For me, I apart from obviously before today's news has got me a little bit shook and I'm a little bit giddy again now. But like, I think going back like last week, I was saying, oh no, like I don't think we should re-sign him. It's giving him a last dance, and you basically just you don't want to ruin his legacy and what he's done for the club, and then bring him back for him to spend most of it on the bench. Because ultimately, that's what would happen. He would come back and pretty much be a bench player and come on when and where's needed.
Listen, guys, it's been fantastic having you. I've just had a message from Chris saying that his internet's crashed, so he wants me to host the 10 o'clock show on NUFC TV. So I'm going to have to end this stream now, lads. Thanks a lot for coming on, all of you. And apologies from Chris for his internet. And we'll see you all next week, hopefully.
Yeah. See you all next week.
Thank you. See you next week. Great show. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.